Hello my friends and welcome to Youth Potential, a channel dedicated to helping young people with mental health problems. I have two books available, 102 Distraction Techniques and Self-Harm to Self-Harmony. Both of these books are only available on Amazon. Thank you very much for watching this video.
Hello my friend, Scott here representing Youth Potential. I don't normally watch the news, but something caught my attention this morning, and it was the fact that the NHS had paid out money to a family because of one of their patients committed suicide. So the gentleman's name was Tony. It was in about 2018. I didn't catch his surname. So basically, long story short, is that he was a patient, a psychiatric patient on a psychiatric ward, and he took his own life, not whilst on the ward, I don't believe. It was outside. I didn't quite catch all the details, but for what I do understand is that the way he was treated was absolutely terrible. And I'm not talking about, like, you know, being treated negatively because of his condition. I mean, it was neglect. It was, once again, the NHS letting people down. Okay, so on the news they were talking with Tony's parents and his sister. From what I managed to capture, he was in a real bad state. He suffered from anxiety, depression, paranoia. He tried to take his own life. He was put into a ward, and I believe they said it was Bedford Hospital. And at one stage he was allowed leave, even though he was in a real bad way. He was allowed to go home for a couple of days. So his dad came to pick him up, and he didn't want to go. He said, I don't want to go, something along the lines of, I don't want to go out. I don't want to be out there. It's scary, or something along those lines. And he started bashing his head against the floor. And obviously his dad was like, I can't take him out like this. So he literally turned around. They're at the front door of the ward at this stage. They go back to the ward door and they try to sort of say, look, he's in no condition to come out. And apparently the ward manager just basically said, no, he'll be fine. Just take him out. It's all been organised, he needs to go. But the dad's saying, like, no, I can't, he's in a real bad way. And the ward manager just turned her back and he or her just walked off. I mean, that is absolutely fucking disgusting. Like, I've been an inpatient 5 times. I know people that have been in an inpatient, and I know how bad the services can be, not just in this one particular hospital, but across all sorts of hospitals. And the problem that one of the things that they mentioned, and I've noticed this from my own experiences and from the experiences of other people that I'm close to, is that you'll have, like, the psychiatric liaison team, the consultants, you'll have nurses, and psychiatrists, and all these sort of professional people that just don't seem to communicate with each other. And this is what was being said. They were saying, like, the psychiatrist would say that this Tony gentleman was okay, for example, but then, like, a nurse would say that he's not, because he's been, you know, demonstrating certain behaviours on the ward. And it's just all this confusion, and it's led to him being discharged, and then he's taking his own life. I know what that's like, you know. I know what it's like to be discharged when you're not ready, when you're still feeling suicidal, and it's absolutely disgusting. Like, I don't like complaining about things or people or anything, and I know the NHS are under a lot of strain. There's a lot of resource and financial difficulties, but I think this is something we need to be creating an awareness of. I mean, obviously outside of the UK it's obviously different, but, you know, within the UK we need to be not just, you know, spreading awareness of mental illness. I think we need to be spreading awareness of how bad the NHS services can be. Now, I'm not saying the entire service is bad, because I've had some really good service from certain people and particular teams, and even psychiatric wards as well. But there have been times where it's been really bad, and the fact that this poor gentleman named Tony and his family, you know, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, how the hell can people think that it's acceptable to discharge people when they're clearly still in a fucking state. Like, I know of people that have been put on a 136 suite, which is like a safe place basically for people who have attempted suicides, usually in public, and then they're back out within less than 24 hours. And you think, this person has just tried to commit suicide, and now you think, just because of a conversation you've had with them, you think it's perfectly acceptable to let them out. Now, I've said this before, but we need more units, more hospitals, more staff to manage this. More training as well, and more people that fucking care. Another thing that absolutely disgusted me was that they didn't disclose how much, but the NHS paid out just a 5-figure sum. 5 figures, so that could be up to £99,999. I know that family would rather have had their son still be alive than any amount of money. And I know I would as well. It's just like the government or the NHS or whoever it is are just like, take a bit of money, that will just sort the damages out. It's like, no, it fucking won't. And then they're saying that they're making changes and all this kind of stuff. It's like, do you know what? You should have been proactive and done that in the first place, not being reactive to someone who's taken their own fucking life when there are clearly signs. It's not like this was the first time this person had done this. He'd done it and tried to take his own life on numerous occasions. Oh my God, it's fucking up. It's ridiculous. Like, no one communicates to each other. People just don't give a shit. People, it's like, people think that because they're in this position of power that everything that they say and do is right. And if they don't want someone to be in their hospital, fucking just go. Get out. You're discharged. You're fine. It's fucking disgusting. I'm absolutely fucking livid. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for listening. Yeah. Come on, government. Fucking pull your finger out and inject some real cash into the fucking NHS and fucking get a plan in place. Don't just throw money at it. Actually do something.